I came across a post. This woman, she was saying like don't ever date a man who's in survival mode. Don't date a man who doesn't have their own place to live or their own car to drive or their own money or anything like that. Don't do that, because you never know what their true intentions are. Right. You never know if it's genuine. And you don't want to fall victim to that. Yeah. A couple of years ago, I was involved with someone that, the intentions weren't very genuine. And, I learned a lot from that situation, because, I learned that my self-esteem wasn't where it should have been at that point. But I think that situation definitely, I've experienced similar situations like that before, maybe one time before, in my early 20s. But this happened in my late 20s, and it was so parallel to my earlier experience in my earlier 20s that I'm like, okay, so this lesson really needs to stick for me this time. He would always lead with his own sob story, if you will. He was homeless and he had to deal with this, he had to go through this and this. The way he would deliver his story when he would meet you, it just seemed like, oh wow, this guy was dealt a bad hand. But when I became involved with him and got to know him, I saw that whatever bad luck that he had, he put himself in that position. He would say things he would talk about how much he cared about me and all these things. And, at one point I would catch him in certain lies and I would forgive him. And he would say that, oh, I want to commit here. I want to commit to you. He would say all the love bombing. He would love bomb me, all those things. At the time I only had a car. I would give him rides and things like that. Around that time, I didn't have my own place to live. So he couldn't leech off of that. He could only leech off the fact that I had a car. Then basically I was strung along until he found another situation where it was more beneficial to him. He found someone that he could live with now. He found someone that he could drive their car. He found someone, it was more convenient, if that makes sense. And then also he was getting ready to get put out again at that point, because his mom was just because I learned a lot after the fact, and things started clicking after the fact. I had to go through it, whatever. But at one point his mom would tell me he told me that you put him out because he didn't want to do this and that. And she was like, no, I put him out because he was disrespecting me in my home. I put him out because he didn't have a job and he has 2 younger siblings, and that's not setting a good example for my younger kids. I don't have a problem with my son staying here. You can stay here indefinitely. Just bring in an income. You're grown. That was her whole thing. I'm like, wow. I didn't know any of this. Right. So what hurt my feelings really bad was that he moved on to someone else that was more beneficial to him, and he did it so abruptly, and it was almost like I was dumped. I was like trash. Mm-hmm. And I felt like trash. And it almost felt, even though it didn't happen in front of a whole bunch of people,